Hi, everyone. So I want to give you a tip for the paper two part G essay. Um, a lot of the students that I teach ask me, how do I know which diagrams to draw in part G? So here's a common tip. Okay. You know the diagram questions before part G, question C, D, E, and F? Those diagrams are these questions are supposed to prime you to think in a specific direction. Okay, so for example, in the November 2024, the last exam session, the question about the India UK FTA agreement, the Part G essay was how will this FTA agreement affect India's progress on two SDGs. All right, fabulous. Question D, the diagram was an international trade diagram about removing tariffs. Question E, the diagram was an externalities diagram about fossil fuel and about fossil fuels. So a negative externalities diagram. And question F was an aggregate demand, aggregate supply diagram about increasing labor participation. Now, if you look at those diagrams, you can pick the SDG that has to do with gender inequality and the SDG that has to do with clean energy or reducing carbon emissions or whatever. Okay. So basically, if you pick the SDGs in that essay that allow you to refer back to the diagrams that you drew in parts D, E, and F, that saves you having to draw the diagrams again in part G. Okay. The same thing can be seen, by the way, in the second question in that exam, the one about Malaysia and the interventions in markets. You can see that the diagrams you drew in parts C, D, E, and F can actually be linked. So, what is my final tip? When you have to make selections in um, part G, whether it's policies, whether it's SDGs, whether it's types of intervention in markets, whatever selections you have to make in part G, pick ones that will allow you to incorporate the diagrams you already drew in part C, D, E, and F, because that makes it much easier to select something, but also makes it much easier for you to not have to stress about what diagrams to draw. Let me know if this was useful. Paper two is my favorite paper, by the way.